Hi, hello. Thank you everyone for joining us today. While we wait, we'll give everybody a couple minutes here to join the webinar. So we would love to have you drop in the chat where you're joining us from. And we'd love to know if you, of course, have been to one of our webinars before or if you're a first timer.
We've got quite a few people in already. I definitely see some familiar names.
Yep. Oh, we got a lot of California, Canada, California, Washington,
I,
Egypt. Wow.
I am also in Washington. So, welcome, fellow Washingtonians, Brittany and Jessica. I will actually be up towards Seattle this weekend for my daughter's cheer competition. So,
I haven't seen anybody from Denver yet, just me so far. Awesome. Munich. Got a good little spread going on here.
okay, put in the chat if this is your first recognized webinar. Who are our first timers?
I do recognize a few names in here as well.
Sam,
Hello.
first time, welcome. Albert, welcome. Welcome, Megan. I love seeing the first timers. And of course, all of our familiar faces as well.
Awesome. So we have a jam-packed agenda today, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, thank you so much. Happy to have you all here. Before we dive in, I just want to acknowledge the reality teams are facing heading into 2026. Engagement is harder than it's been in years. Teams are stretched, priorities are shifting quickly, and leaders are, being asked to do more with less while still keeping people motivated and connected. And that's exactly why recognition can't be an afterthought. The most successful organizations that we see treat recognition as a strategy and not just a nice to have. It needs to be planned, visible, and intentionally tied to what the business is trying to achieve. So today we have Brittany Espinoza with us, Head of Customer Success with Recognize. Many of you may know her if this is not your first time. And my name is Samantha. I'm also a Customer Success Manager here with Recognize. Perfect. So we'll go to the next slide here. So today it's all about helping you do exactly what we're talking about. By the end of this session, you're going to walk away with practical ideas on how to build a 2026 recognition roadmap, how to plan recognition across the year to align with recognition, company goals and initiative, drive actions with challenges, increase visibility, and keep the momentum going without burning out your team. So before we go any further, let's just take a quick pulse check. So we would love to know how confident do you feel in your recognition plan for 2026? And there's no wrong answer here. You don't have to overthink it. Just go with your gut.
Wow, I love that so many people say that they at least have a plan started. So that's awesome. See, I think we've got most responses in. Give it maybe 15 more seconds. All right, let's see what we got here.
All right. So it looks like most of you have a plan, but need some work around it. We have a few who haven't gotten started, and kudos to the ones we have. We have a few that feel super confident and they're all set to go. and looks like a small handful of just getting started. So great. This is going to be a great webinar for you guys.
And
So
those of you in the 17%, we look forward to hearing your ideas in the chat.
yeah, we
We
would
know you
love
have them.
drop what your guys' plans are. We would love to share those with everybody on here. Also, if you have any questions throughout the webinar, feel free to drop those in the chat or the Q&A section as well. And we'll be sure to leave a couple minutes at the end to address anything that we may have missed. So what do strong recognitions have in common that we see? So high impact recognition programs, they don't happen by accident. It's not a set it and forget it type of thing. First, they're planned, not reactive. So recognition works best when it's intentional, not just something where we remember to do when there's time. Second, it's visible across the organization. So if recognition only lives in private messages or small pockets, it really loses its impact. So visibility helps fuel that participation. And third, they're aligned with business goals. So the strongest programs really reinforce what success actually looks like for organizations. It's not about just the feel good moments, right? We want to make sure that we're living our core values, really pushing any initiatives. So when recognition, again, it's an intentional and seen across the organization, it really reinforces your priorities and drives consistent behavior. So now we're going to get into building your 2026 recognition roadmap. So this is where strategy meets execution. So this roadmap is going to give you recognition structure without making it rigid, because you don't want to lock yourself in. You're giving your program direction while leaving room to breathe and adjust as priorities shift. And one of the biggest mistakes we see is trying to plan everything at once. We don't want to overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it too much. So when you're planning, you want to think about doing it by quarter. That way it keeps it manageable, realistic, and it gives you that flexibility when priorities shift. So you have time to review how that quarter went and make any adjustments from there. Again, you don't need a perfect annual plan. You need a repeatable framework. And then next, aligning. So aligning campaigns to business cycles, peak seasons, and priorities really ensures recognition supports what teams are already focused on. This is where recognition really starts driving business impact. And when recognition is tied directly to company goals, it stops feeling extra and starts reinforcing what actually matters. So instead of only recognizing outcomes, think about recognizing progress. Are teams collaborating more? Are they adopting a new process that you implemented? Are they supporting key initiatives? Those moments really deserve that visibility too. And, we understand everyone is busy, but those busy times is when you need more appreciation, not less. And then third, leverage holidays, leverage awareness days, company milestones. Really take advantage of those built-in recognition moments. So recognition feels timely and intentional rather than random. And think about it. You don't have to invent energy from scratch or new ideas from scratch. These, again, are already built in, and you have that instant energy and participation right from the beginning. And finally, focus. Focus on momentum over perfection. Starting with one quarter is always better than waiting until everything feels ready. So one strong quarter beats a perfect plan. It definitely beat a perfect plan that never launches. So this helps build confidence, and confidence creates consistency. And then next, we're going to have Brittany share some wonderful ideas and a framework for what a quarter looks like.
Thanks, Sam. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful information there. Just to go back to this slide real quick. Again, this is just about getting started, right? Doing something is always better than doing nothing. So, what I'm going to share now is just an idea of what your Q1 roadmap could look like. This isn't a one size fits all approach. So, if you see something that feels like it makes sense for your organization, great, take the idea. If not, this is just a way to kind of get your gears going and start thinking about what are the types of things that I should be thinking about and planning for throughout each quarter as I'm building my roadmap. So if we want to look at Q1, which is what I've kind of gathered here in my slides, starting with January, this is a great time to leverage what a lot of people are thinking about in January in the new year is goals, resolutions. Most companies are going to be mapping out their company roadmap in terms of what the company's focus is for the year, what the company's goals are for the year, and your recognition program can be a really powerful tool to not only communicate those goals and objectives, but also get that momentum going, start the year off with the awareness and the participation from everybody in the organization. So, again, don't just look at your recognition program as a feel good thing where we can boost morale. Look at it as a powerful tool to help drive your company's goals and initiatives. January is the perfect month to kick that off and to leverage that because we're all already in that mindset of not only company goals, but individuals setting personal goals for the year or team goals for the year as well. So, we can do some fun badges themed around, goal setting, like goal setter, cross team collaboration, strong start, momentum builder. So just fun badges to kind of go with that theme. You can also think about creating challenges for employees or teams that get a head start on some of their planning or are already making momentum on some of the goals for the year. And then this is also a really important time to gain manager contribution early in the year. So managers can really help kick off the momentum for the year, not only your recognition program momentum, but the momentum for the company's goals and initiatives for the year. So this is a really great time to make sure that your managers are also kicking off the year strong with participation and recognizing their direct reports for early wins and, again, just setting that momentum. And this is kind of built in. We're already talking about goals and things for in January at the beginning of the year. So this is something where it doesn't take a whole lot of planning. You're kind of pulling from what your company is already telling you their goals are and just putting it into action in your recognition program. So this is a great way to start the year without having to put in really too much effort, as we are all usually pretty busy in January. And then my next slide has some February. This is a great month for the what Sam was talking about in terms of like leveraging things that are already happening, like national days or holidays. February, obviously, we have Valentine's Day. So this is a great opportunity to leverage that built-in holiday for thinking about loving our customers, loving our team, have fun with it. When recognition programs are fresh and relevant, they tend to take on more life. People just have fun when the program is exciting. So create those fun badges. I've got some ideas on my slide here: customer crush, solution sweetheart, heartfelt high five, team heart, whatever you can think of. If you missed our January newsletter, we did share some Valentine's Day badges and engagement ideas. We will reshare them in our February newsletter. So if you didn't get them, look out for that. We do often share badge image examples or engagement ideas for these kind of built-in moments throughout the year. So if you're not subscribed to our newsletter, make sure that you do get subscribed. We'll put a link in our follow-up email today so you can all make sure you're subscribed. Because we love to help you out. We don't want this to be hard for you. Like Sam said, it's not a set it and forget it type of thing. It does take that momentum building throughout the year, but it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. There's really very simple things that you can do throughout the year to keep engagement high, and this is one of them. Let's see. For March, we got a little bit more complicated here for March. Got a lot going on in March. Love doing like March Madness themed challenges in March. Again, just playing off of what already is happening in the world is always a really fun way to engage people. March Madness is a great way to leverage the challenges feature. So we are, talking about using challenges to boost recognition. Or if you have specific goals or initiatives that you're specifically trying to drive in your organization, use those as your challenges instead of what I have here, which are like recognition boosting challenges. And this is just kind of a fun way to incentivize the behaviors that you want to see. And then, of course, super huge in March is Employee Appreciation Day. And this is something that most customers or most companies are going to take advantage of. And your recognition program should be a huge part of that celebration. So we recommend a bulk recognition to the entire company from the CEO or, the upper leadership as a whole, including a heartfelt appreciation message. And if it makes sense for your company, maybe adding a small points award to that badge as well. And then being able to have a employee recognition day badge available to your managers and leaders to use for their personal appreciation messages to their direct reports. And then other things that you can do is highlighting Employee Appreciation Day recognitions in our kiosk mode. I'll have a little preview of it in a couple of slides. We'll talk a little bit more about kiosk mode, but essentially having a live stream of those recognitions happening in company gathering places, break rooms, office spaces, or if you have remote workers on your intranet, just so that we're increasing that visibility. Like Sam was talking about earlier, that's really one of the key pieces is to kind of build that momentum is visibility. If they see it happening, they're likely going to go send a recognition as well. Let's see here. And then going into or wrapping up the quarter, I should say, think about nominations. Nominations should be happening quarterly, and they don't have to be super extravagant every quarter. Obviously, you might be doing more significant nomination campaigns at mid-year. Certainly at the end of the year, you might have some more significant nomination campaigns, but recognizing people for above and beyond behaviors with nomination awards quarterly, again, just kind of helps that momentum keep going throughout the year. So Q1 is a great time to nominate and award things like people who are making a big impact for the first quarter of the year towards company goals and initiatives, employees who are exhibiting the company values, putting values into action, and rising star people who are already off to a great start for the year and had a really strong performance or significant growth in Q1. These, depending on what your organization wants to do, these can be peer nominated awards or manager nominated awards. Decide who's going to review and award these. And then the winners can get a badge public on the stream page with some points if your organization is using points. And again, use the announcements feature on the recognition stream to announce your winners as well. So now that we've kind of seen an example of what a plan can look like, I want to dive into ways to leverage your program aside from badges and recognition. A lot of us are most of us are going to be really good at creating badges, sending badges. That's kind of the meat and potatoes of your recognition program. But often we don't do as good of a job leveraging some of the other features within the recognition program that can do a really great job of not only driving participation, but driving action. And challenges is one of those that will really drive action. So challenges are going to be more of an incentive versus an after the fact recognition. And in my next slide here, I have a little bit of an overview on when to use challenges versus recognition. Recognition is going to be more about acknowledging great work after it happens. Recognition is celebrating the wins or the outcomes or even just the effort. And then recognition also reinforces the values and behaviors and has that public social aspect. Challenges, on the other hand, are going to be more of a way to encourage a specific action or habit or make a behavior a habit. It's going to drive participation over time. It's going to also support adoption of not only your recognition program, but also whatever goal or initiative you're trying to achieve. So think of recognition as celebration and challenges as motivation. So as you, again, are starting out your year thinking about company goals and company initiatives, challenges are a really great way to start driving action and driving behaviors that you want to see. And challenges can be awarded monetarily with points, or they can just be, collected as something like a raffle or public recognition to people who have completed the challenges. So in terms of how you reward or incentivize those challenges is up to you. But again, challenges are going to be a way to drive the behaviors that you want to see. And then I have one more slide here on challenges, just to give us some ideas on common use cases. So love seeing challenges used to increase the adoption of the program. So you can do things like challenging your managers to send a recognition to every direct report for the month, or incentivizing your employees to comment on recognitions that have been given or engage with the recognition by reacting. It can also not only drive adoption of your recognition program, but you can also use it to drive adoption of any other new tools or processes that you're introducing. So let's say you have a new tool that you're trying to introduce, you can incentivize the usage of that tool by creating a challenge and recognize and giving them points for adopting that new tool. Another great idea for challenges is completing training or certification. So when employees are thinking about growth and you guys are offering training sessions or there's certifications that you encourage your employees to get, those are amazing things. Again, like built-in opportunities to incentivize and reward inside of Recognize with the challenges. Another great one, which is supported throughout the year by all sorts of different national wellness days, is supporting wellness, safety, or engagement initiatives. Wellness is, there's scattered throughout the year. There are tons of different mental health wellness, physical wellness type days that you can really use to support wellness campaigns. Safety, a lot of our customers, those who have a lot of frontline workers or like manufacturing type industries, safety is going to be super important to you. So recognize those who are meeting those safety standards and reward them with points inside of Recognize. And then lastly, kicking off campaigns or re-energizing participation. So one of the things that we see is that about 70% of people, users who log into the recognition platform will send a recognition of their own. So if we can get them into the platform to complete a challenge, to look at, the announcements activity, to complete a survey, to submit a nomination, whatever they're going into the platform for, the more reasons we can get them to visit the platform, the more likely, 70% likely, they are going to be to, while I'm in here, let me send a recognition to my peer who did something amazing or my direct report who did something amazing today. So campaigns are a really great way, along with those other features that I mentioned, to drive activity, which in turn will drive recognition engagement. And then just real quick to wrap up this slide, incentives motivate behavior, giving points create a clear reward for completion or effort. Tracking progress helps keep participants engaged. Completion of incentives encourage follow through. And then bonus rewards drive full participation across campaigns. And we've probably looked at this. I think we might have looked at this in our last webinar. And then we also set something out in our newsletter about our challenges rebrand. Can you see my Redwood screen, Sam?
Yep. Sure
Okay,
can.
cool. I just wanted to make sure that it came through. But one of the really cool things, we've rebranded challenges. When I talk about challenges, it used to be called tasks. And so we've rebranded that to challenges, which feels a little bit more gamified and a little bit less rigid than tasks might feel. So here's just an example of the rebrand. And one of the cool things that I wanted to point out just real quick is the leaderboards. So again, when we're talking about how challenges drive motivation, it's not only about like your personal completion and your personal reward, but there's also this gamification where you can see who's recently submitted a challenge and who has submitted the most challenges. So you get kind of that gamification aspect as well. I see a question that I want to address super quick in the chat. Sarah is asking if points need to be tied to every challenge. And the answer to that is no, absolutely not. Challenges can have points or they can be non-monetary as well. I have seen companies just have people submit that they completed a task and then publicly celebrate those who completed the task. I've also seen kind of a raffle style. So the task itself or the challenge, I keep calling them tasks. I have to rebrand my brain too. So you can have everybody complete the challenge. And then after the campaign period is complete, you can go in to your backend reporting and pull all the names of those who completed the challenge and do a drawing for a raffle. So a little bit more of a low cost, especially if you're not using points and rewards in the system. You can always reward outside of the program, kind of raffle style, or maybe you're just awarding each person with a certificate or a thank you, email or a recognition badge for completing the challenge. So there's definitely other ways to reward challenge completion that doesn't have to use points, and it doesn't even really have to be monetary. That was an awesome question. Thanks for asking that. Okay, so I'm going to move on from challenges and we're going to talk about increasing visibility with integrations and kiosk mode. So Sam touched on this at the beginning of the webinar as one of the differentiators between an effective recognition program and an ineffective recognition program. And if you are struggling with program participation, my recommendation would be one of the first places to look at is how visible is your program. First thing you want to look at is integrations. Are employees having to go to a web browser and log in to the Recognize program completely outside of tools that they're already using? Or is the program easily accessible inside of tools that they're already using every day? If your employees are using Microsoft Teams, Recognize should be right there in the app bar, easy for them to navigate and access without ever leaving Teams. If they're using Outlook, you should have the Outlook integration. SharePoint or other intranets, embedding Recognize into those places so that they can use Recognize right inside of the intranet is necessary. At the very least, being able to have an easily accessible link to the recognition program on your intranet page. Slack, if you use Slack, that's another great integration. You can actually send recognitions right from within Slack. You can also have dedicated recognition channels in Slack where those recognitions are automatically posting. We actually do that internally as a recognized team. We use Slack to communicate. Whenever recognitions are sent, they actually pop up in our Slack channel right away. So we don't even have to go to Recognize to see the recognitions that are happening. It's all happening and visible in the places that we spend all of our time anyways. So that's huge. If you don't use any of the things that I mentioned, reach out, let us know what you do use, and we will let you know what the best ways to integrate with your tools would be. Because again, visibility is key to an effective recognition program. Another question in the chat is, how does it integrate with Outlook? Outlook, I don't have it pulled up, but I will Sam, will you take Sarah's name down and I'll send her an email with the FAQ. But essentially, when you click on an email, there's a side pop out that comes out that is essentially the entire Recognize app. And so you can click on an email, pop out Recognize, send a recognition right in that little pop up, and then go back to working on your emails. Or if you wanted to open up a full window, there's a button to do that as well. So the idea with Outlook is you're going through your emails, you see something that deserves recognition, you can pop open recognition, send the recognition, and then get back to work. So super helpful for managers and leaders who are busy going through their inboxes every morning. Makes it really easy for them to just shoot off those recognitions. Yes, Meta will share with you as well. You know what? We're gonna put it in our follow-up email. Then everybody
has it.
Everybody's gonna get it. It's a good one. Okay. And then the next, you know what? I wasn't done here. We talked about integrations, but I want to talk also about kiosk mode, which is essentially digital signage. So a way to display a live feed of recognitions happening in the organization in public spaces. So think break rooms, office spaces, anywhere where your employees gather. Or again, if you're remote, you can have a live stream happening embedded in your internet in SharePoint. What you see here is our horizontal mode, but we also have a vertical mode where it scrolls upward. Just kind of depending on your screen size, really, will depend on what mode you like. But you can do things like team specific recognition. So let's say you have different locations across your organization. And for my location, I just want to see a stream of the recognitions that are happening for just the employees in my location. I can select that team and just show a stream for just my team so that my employees are always seeing the recognitions that are most relevant to them. You can also choose it to only show a certain badge. So if you're running, for example, a Valentine's Day campaign, you can do a Valentine's Day badge and then select to only show that badge and have a wall of love, and you're showing all the recognitions that are coming through that are done with your Valentine's Day badge. Or that would also be great to do for employee appreciation if you have an employee appreciation day badge, and then you have a live feed of all of the employee appreciation day recognitions that are happening throughout the organization. So again, it's about keeping it top of mind. So making it easy and visible, putting it into tools that employees are already using in their day to day, and also reminding them with the visibility. If I walk into the break room and while I'm eating my lunch, I can see a stream of recognitions and read the recognitions that are happening, it's going to get me thinking about who I want to recognize, and it's going to drive that engagement really to the next level. If you don't have it visible to your employees, they're going to forget it's there and your program is going to fall flat. So this is really, really, really important. And I would say, if nothing else this year, increasing visibility with these two topics, integrations and kiosk mode, should be top priority. Okay, now we're on to this slide. Measure and keep momentum. So another thing that I'll circle back to that Sam was talking about at the beginning is planning by quarter rather than by month or by year. If you're planning by month, it's too easy to get busy and forget, right? Months go by fast. Trust me, it is already the end of January, and I shared with you guys January roadmap engagement ideas. You'll have to use those for next year because January is already over, which is crazy. Months go by fast. We get busy. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to plan for February, the last week of January, it might not happen, right? So planning out quarterly, you're more likely to actually have a good plan and stick with that plan. But if you're doing it for the year, you miss opportunities to assess and measure and adjust based on what's working or what's not working, or if companies' priorities or initiatives change or adjust throughout the year, you're missing opportunities to keep your program aligned with those shifts. So that's really why we recommend a quarterly planning. You can have a loose year plan, right? Like, we already know in November, we're going to do something about being grateful. We're going to have a grateful wall of recognitions, and we're going to have, Thanksgiving themed badges. You can have a loose plan and kind of know what you're going to do, but the real kind of plan should be happening on a quarterly basis. One of our last webinars, which if you didn't see it, it's a great one to go back and watch. I can't remember, we did it somewhere in Q4 last year. It might have been October, might have been November, but we did a webinar on culture committees. Go watch that one. That one's amazing. Recommend a culture committee for any company who has a recognition program, because it's not something that one person can do. I know we have a lot of admins who do it on their own, and they are rock stars. And we love you guys, but we want to get you some help. So putting together culture committees that can meet quarterly to review what worked last quarter, what didn't work, what's the plan for next quarter, reviewing metrics like spot trends in activity. So what badges are being used the most, what badges are being used the least, what challenges are gaining the most traction. Also spot checking your employee teams. So if you have certain teams that are more engaged than others, or locations that are more engaged than others. So really you're just gaining insight with your reporting to help drive your decisions for your next quarter's plan. And again, culture committee is a great place to do this. Meet once a quarter, get together, review what happened last quarter, make a plan for next quarter, and then execute it for that quarter. I'm going to read this last one here just because I love this quote. I don't know who said it, but it's quote, measure to learn and improve. So when we think about measuring, we're measuring for a reason. So we're not measuring to police the program or to necessarily even hold accountability. When you're measuring your recognition program, you're measuring what worked, what didn't work, and you're measuring to learn and improve for your next plan. Okay.
Awesome. Thank
I'm going
you
to
so
pass
much.
back to Sam here, and she's going to give you guys some action items.
That is great. And then just one thing I want to kind of piggyback off when Brittany's talking about culture committees. Um, it's always, and we touched base with this as well on one of our last webinars. This is can be a stretch assignment, right? Or I have organizations that use interns to help build out badge strategies, do marketing material, things like that. So really awesome. Take advantage of, your interns, take advantage of those employees who really want to advance within the organization as well and really help with those key initiatives. So we would love to share your 30-day action plan. So what we would love for you guys to do, and remember, it doesn't need to be a full year plan. We would love for you to focus on Q1. So start mapping out your Q1 recognition roadmap. As Brittany said, months fly by. So January is almost over. So I guess you only have February and March to work on here. And then just schedule time on your calendar to plan for Q2. That way, again, you're not scrambling and trying to get a plan together. We want you to launch at least one campaign, challenge, or visibility play. If you want to focus on a new type of integration, or if you want to start using the challenges or kiosk mode, if you're not already, take advantage of what tools are available to you guys as company admins. And then small intentional steps will help you build strong momentum. So get that on the schedule now for Q2. Start thinking about building a culture committee. We're very early in the years. Again, we say that, but before you know it, Q1 is going to be over. So this is what we would love you guys to do for your 30-day action plan. And really, when you're thinking about the framework that Brittany shared, again, you don't have to follow what we have. These are things that, we celebrate here. But if you are an international organization, definitely leverage those campaigns around, holidays for where you guys are at. So, all right. And then we can go on to the next slide here.
Oh, sorry, that's me. And I do also, by the way, have a full year example idea roadmap created that we will also send in our follow-up to. Again, like Sam said, it's not a one size fits all, but it's a way to just kind of get the juices flowing and give you guys some ideas of what you can be doing. So we'll send that out in the follow-up as well.
We like to try to make it as easy as possible for you guys. And
we know you're busy.
And the big takeaway here, plan quarterly, align to priorities, leverage natural moments, and focus on progress over perfection. We don't want you to overthink it again. Otherwise, you're going to start getting overwhelmed, and we don't want that. Because recognition works best when it's consistent, visible, and remember, keep it human as well. Don't make it so rigid. Recognition should be fun.
And you said something earlier, Sam, about focusing on the momentum over perfection. So if you wait until it's perfect, it may not ever happen. So I think you said something like a launched imperfect plan is better than a never launched perfect plan or something like that. And I love that because that is so true. Sometimes we get so focused on having the perfect plan and the perfect graphics and the perfect communication plan. And a lot of times we just need to kick it out the door. And if something could have been done better, great, we learn for the next time. But do something. Don't do nothing.
Absolutely. And then, we want to thank you so much for, spending this time with us today. And Brittany and I have our links here. If you do want to book some time We definitely are always happy to answer any questions you have. We're always excited to help any of you guys, support any of you in building out and refining your recognition strategy for 2026.
We do
So,
have about 15 minutes left if anybody has not only questions, but I would also love to hear what is already on your roadmap. A lot of you said you had are either super confident in your plan or had already kind of started building out your plan. And again, we're sharing ideas, but it's not a one size fits all. So things that you're doing and ideas that you have can definitely help your peers. And that's really one of the things that we really love about these monthly webinars that we do, because we're creating a community here and we can share ideas amongst each other. So if you have amazing, fun ideas that you are doing throughout the year to kind of boost engagement, share those in the chat. If you have questions, share those in the chat. Sam and I will be here for another 15 minutes to answer those questions.
oh, and for those of you who stayed, do we want to do a little session
Oh,
of with tea?
I should have said it before a few people dropped off.
Yeah.
Yeah, while the questions and stuff come in, I do always love to share a bit of a sneak peek of what Recognize has on the roadmap. And so one of the things that I am so excited to share with you guys, and we are actually internally testing this right now, so it will be ready very, very soon. And this is a tool that is going to significantly help your managers with managing their employees and performance reviews. So a feature that we're getting ready to launch is AI insights for
Oh,
direct reports.
real quick, Brittany, before we give them your tea here, looks like Vanessa had a question.
Sure.
Um, how do you get employees involved that are not tech savvy? So this is a great question because Brittany and I also did a webinar on multi-generational workforce. um, so my tip is what I like to say when you are in doing any type of employee training, for example, or I always recommend putting Recognize as part of the onboarding process, and getting users logged in, physically showing them, enlisting the help of managers to also, in an employee meeting, touching base with Recognize. We also have user training, free, that, it's completely free to you guys. We do a live webinar every Thursday, for employees. And Brittany, do you have anything else to share? Sorry, I kind of just rattled
Yeah,
off.
yeah, no, totally. As a follow-up, Vanessa, you're asking how do we sell this idea to management? And this is a great question because a lot of times when we're asking managers to go into yet another platform and send recognitions, it can feel like just another thing that they have to do. And so if that's the feeling, it's hard to get that buy-in from your managers. So this is why we really, really want to sell the program to them as a tool for them. If their employees feel motivated, and recognize, they are going to stick around longer. They're going to work harder. So really, by them taking that extra time to send recognitions or to support their less tech savvy employees in making sure that they can see their recognitions and participate, it's only going to benefit their team's performance and ultimately them. And that actually ties directly into kind of what we're talking about with the manager insights and really leveraging this tool for managers. It is a tool for managers. Just as a real quick sneak peek, because I know we do have more questions in here that I want to get to. I'll give you a quick sneak peek of what this looks like. We're going to pull up Sam's. So if I go to Sam's profile as a manager, and I can get to this from my manager portal as well. But I have a performance insights button here for Sam since I've got Sam as a direct report. And if I click on the performance insights, we're going to give it a little bit more knowledge here and not just January. So let's look at, if we just look at Q4, it's going to, essentially, it's going to look at, I'm going to go all of 2025 since this is our test account. There's not too much activity. So it's basically going to go through all of the activity that's happened with Sam throughout whatever time period, in this case, the year, recognitions she's received, challenges she's completed, anything that's happened with Sam over the last year in the recognition platform. And it's going to give me an overview of what are the things that Sam is excelling at, what are the badges she's earning the most, recognition sentiment analysis, who she's getting recognitions from, whether that's a department specifically, managers or peers, recognition trends, and then it'll highlight her most notable recognition here as well. This is also available to print as a PDF. So again, a great tool for managers to use to reflect back on for performance reviews. So yeah, so that's a super exciting thing that we're testing out right now, and hopefully we'll have launched by the end of Q1. So something to look forward to. Sam, did we miss any questions in here?
Yeah, to answer your question, Pam, how to encourage leadership to use Recognize. Of course, the Performance Insights is going to be a great tool for them to get into Recognize and use that. The other thing I like to recommend is using the data and reporting that's available to you in Recognize as well. And especially pulling an engagement report by manager role, you can use that data and actually, try to correlate it to that manager's or team, perhaps. So you can look at what's their productivity, what's their retention rate. Maybe you want to run a survey and get that team get some data and, get their sentiment and share that with, that specific manager or the leadership team. Those are just some ideas I have. Brittany, do you have any other
Yeah, no,
ideas?
I would definitely agree. Sometimes showing them how it's working for their peers is more effective than just it coming from the HR team or, upper management. So if you have managers that are struggling to buy into how recognizing their direct reports is going to ultimately benefit them, look at the managers who are successful, and you will surely be able to find that the managers who are regularly recognizing their direct reports are seeing higher engagement. They are seeing higher retention rates. They are seeing higher productivity, whatever that looks like to you, meeting certain metrics, whatever that looks like in your organization. And just being able to correlate that and say, this person does a really great job at recognizing their direct reports, and here's the result. That's going to get them to buy in. That's going to get them to say, oh, I want those results too. And if it's as easy as recognizing my employees for doing great work, I'll do it. Leveraging manager portals. I think most customers, most of our companies do have managers assigned and recognized, which means all of your managers have manager portals where they can directly see each of their direct reports, and they can see things like what badges they've earned, how many recognitions that they have earned. They can also see when's the last time they received a recognition directly from their manager. So if I've never recognized this direct report, I can see that here. Or if I recognize them 60 days ago, it'll say that there too. Just to point out, this is a test account, so these aren't my real direct reports. I always, I always feel bad when I'm showing this account. It's like, I promise I recognize my direct reports. These aren't my real direct reports. But the manager portal is a great tool for managers to come in and see what recognition activity is happening, and making sure that nobody's falling through the cracks. That's what this little tool here for is to really make sure that anybody who hasn't received a recognition from you yet, or in a while, that you notice that, and that you're not letting them fall through the cracks. And then, yeah, again, the Performance Insights is going to be a great tool for them as well.
Yeah, and those what we said in our 30-day action plan, launch at least one challenge, or maybe you haven't used nominations and launch that. And that can get leadership participation. Have them do a nomination, do a challenge for them.
Mm-hmm.
Not just about your, obviously you want to recognize your employees, but you also want to recognize your managers and leadership as well, because they are doing a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of one of those things where if I'm getting recognition, I also feel like recognizing others. So if your managers are feeling appreciated and they're getting recognized, they now know how that feels and how that may motivate them. And again, that's going to create that buy-in and encourage them to do the same with their direct reports. Albert is asking about survey tools. We actually do have we launched last year a full survey product inside of Recognize. Within, we definitely we didn't talk too much about surveys in this webinar, and maybe we should have. But now is actually a great time if you didn't do it kind of at the end of 2025, or if you haven't done it yet in 2026. Now is a great time to roll out employee engagement or employee sentiment surveys to find out what employees think about the current recognition program, what they like about it, what they want to see more of, what they don't like about it, or just overall sentiment. How happy are they with their jobs? And those results can really help drive your plan as well. Within the survey section, we do have some templates. We have a built-in EMPS that is super easy to launch, and you can start using that right away. We also have some templates for employee engagement, as well as employee happiness that you're welcome to use as a starting point. You can use as is or make further edits. And we also do in our knowledge base, which can always be found just by going to help. We do have some survey templates that are really awesome that you can use as well. So great call out there. And yeah, I definitely recommend, if you haven't already, doing some sort of an employee engagement and recognition feedback survey to kick off the year, because that will really help you make informed decisions as you're mapping out, what you're going to do in 2026. And then and Sam, you answered Vanessa in the chat, but I'll publicly answer. Yes, we will be sending a copy of this webinar. In addition to that, we will be sending a full year roadmap of ideas, as well as some of the other resources that we talked about today, like the integrations and things like that. So we'll share a lot of resources. I'll go back to the slide here just for the last couple of minutes if anybody wasn't able to get the information. So this is our knowledge base. So if you're wondering about any of the integrations or things that we talked about, we have a super robust knowledge base where you can find not only information on like how integrations work or how features work, but a lot of strategy type articles as well. Questions can always go to support@recognizeapp.com or Samantha or myself. And these QR codes will take you to our booking links. We're happy to meet with anyone.
And Vanessa, great question and call out there. We've heard this has been a struggle with clients and organizations before. Not everybody checks their emails, right? Am I guilty of it? 100%. My personal email probably does not get the attention it needs or cleanup that it needs. Now, keep in mind, we also have a recognized mobile app. So for those of you who have a very, very heavy frontline staff, that is a great option. We also, if you have any type of company devices, perhaps get those already downloaded on there for them, or, that way they can easily access it. We have push notifications available for our mobile app. So anytime you receive a recognition or there's some type of announcement, you'll get a push notification. I think, again, it comes to visibility and communicating all of the ways your employees can actually access Recognize.
Yeah,
Hopefully that
sorry.
answers your
Yeah, hopefully
question.
that helps answer. I was trying to pull it up. My test account wasn't participating, so I pulled up my other account here. But yeah, we have not only text message, SMS notifications for most activities, but we also have push notifications. So those are amazing for your frontline staff. That like Sam said, they're not going to be checking their emails as often as those that are sitting behind a computer.
Awesome. And it looks like Aurelio, I do apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly. Aurelio has his hand raised. So I'm going to go ahead and allow you to talk. There we go. Oh dear. Oh, it looks like you're muted.
I wonder if maybe the hand raise was an accident.
Oh no.
No,
Oh,
they said, oh, it was an accident. Well, you talk if you want to, Aurelio. All right. Well, I think we are just about time. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today for the participation. We truly, truly appreciate everybody joining these calls. We hope they're helpful. If you have any tips or ideas that you are hoping to hear about in our webinars this year, please reach out and let us know. And we look forward to seeing you next month. These webinars will be held the last Thursday of every month. So keep a lookout every month in our newsletter for the invites. And we hope to see you in the next one.
awesome. Have a
Bye,
good one,
everyone.
Matt.